What is the crime, sir?
You
Specifically,
just wait. You keep up. You asked me to answer.
RICO is not a crime. It is a category. What is
know.
the
Going on, everybody? Sorry about the first stream. I had a little problem. Didn't have the microphone on. Gotta love it. But anyway, so RICO is not a crime. It's kind of funny because some might argue that they are in fact guilty of violating RICO in their attempt to destroy Donald Trump and take all of his stuff. You know? So the week started off, of course, with the whole bloodbath comment and taking it out of context, like they always do. Uh, and we saw that bleed into the hearing yesterday, where the same AOC, and I'll play the clip in a little bit, suddenly now impeachments require high crimes and misdemeanors, which is kind of funny because when they impeached Trump twice, they said something completely different. The Congress decides what is and isn't crimes, they said. What changed? They love taking things out of context. They straight up lie. That Dan Goldman, I mean, that guy. You're in an impeachment inquiry about Joe Biden, and you want to know about Rudy Giuliani, and uh, uh, they have no interest in finding the truth. But here's the bloodbath comment, and then I'll play you the outlandish reaction to it after.
You used the word bloodbath. I did a little truth the other day. Truth is on fire. Yeah. It's doing great. And I put it out this morning, I guess it was put out, and it talks about the word bloodbath, and all of the people that are complaining about it, they all used it. It's a commonly used phrase when you're getting slaughtered economically, when you're getting slaughtered socially, when you're getting slaughtered.
Yeah. Most people knew exactly what he was saying. Only the dishonest media, the enemy of the people, I wonder who told us that. They like to mince words and twist things around and pretend people say things that they didn't. Here's Keith Olbermann. Wonderful guy, this guy is.
Whether Trump meant a real bloodbath or just kind of a bloodbath, a metaphorical bloodbath about foreign cars, or maybe a bloodbath in which, you go in and you sit in a hot water bath so that the blood circulation improves. Yes, that's probably what he meant.
Those really the people that you want to listen to? I know I don't. That guy seems like a real lunatic. I wouldn't take him seriously. I wouldn't listen to anything that guy has to say. And as I said, I do have the full clip from AOC. When Trump was impeached, not once but twice, which AOC voted for both of them, why didn't you need a crime then? Why is it that you need a crime now? And why does everybody pretend that there's no proof of Hunter Biden corruption when, I mean, there seems to be an unlimited amount of proof of Hunter Biden corruption, yet nobody has any interest whatsoever in looking at it. It's always about Trump, but there's always a different standard for Trump. So even in the Trump Tower, the Trump situation with Letitia James, you're trying to steal all the guy's money. You create a bond that's just ridiculous, and then people want to say, "Oh well, if he has billions of dollars, why doesn't he have 466 million or whatever the hell it is?" Because what rich person keeps that amount of cash on hand? They have all their money tied up in assets. Now, just for this guy to appeal a BS case where they're trying to take everything that he owns and ruin him financially, he's supposed to sell an asset. And then when he wins the case, how does he get restored to whole? Right? You don't. And they know that, and that's all that this trick is about. But the ones guilty of RICO uh, are, in fact, the Democrat Party, who likes to steal elections, who likes to try to destroy people. I mean, and another thing, you want to talk about a double standard, as Hunter Biden didn't show up, which, from what I'm hearing, he apparently wasn't even subpoenaed, which that's a whole nother live just about that alone. If that's true, why wasn't the guy under subpoena? That's ridiculous. Uh, but Peter Navarro, he doesn't show up despite the fact he didn't have to. Uh, he had immunity, right? Uh, that guy's sitting in prison. Hunter Biden is free, probably smoking crack right now. Uh, and that's it. But let's hear from AOC about the double standard where suddenly now you need crimes impeachment. Who knew?
I have a quick question. Simple. Is it your testimony today that you personally witnessed President Joe Biden commit a crime?
I believe the fact that he was sitting with me while I was putting together a
Did
business
you
deal.
witness the president commit a crime? Is it your testimony today?
Yes.
And what crime have you witnessed?
How much time do I have to go through it?
It is simple. You name the crime. Did you watch him steal something?
Corruption statutes, RICO and conspiracy.
What is it?
FARA.
What is the crime, sir?
You
Specifically.
just, wait, you asked me to answer the question. I answered the question.
No.
RICO, you're obviously not familiar with. Corruption
Excuse me,
statutes,
sir. Excuse me,
FARA.
sir. Excuse me, sir. RICO is not a crime. It is a category. What is
It's
the
a category of crimes that you're then charged
You
under
have charges.
A long 100
You
list
have
of statutes.
charges. Sir,
You
please
want me to name the exact statute
Sir,
under RICO?
yes.
Well, it's funny. In this committee room, everyone's not here. There's over 18
All right, sir. I reclaim my time.
lawyers that
I
went to
reclaim
law
my
school.
time. I
I'll leave
reclaim
it
my
up to
time.
you guys
Okay,
to
thank
define
you,
the
sir. I
statutes
reclaim my
under
time.
RICO.
Clearly, what we are seeing here today is a continuation of the 15-month saga of the Republican majority lost in the desert. Impeachment 101. The majority party or whomever is raising impeachment must accuse the president of a high crime, a specific high crime or misdemeanor. I would like to submit to the record HRES 918, the House resolution to open this impeachment inquiry.
Without objection to order.
This resolution does not outline a high crime or misdemeanor. It's not here. Now,
She voted twice for Trump impeachment without any crime, with the understanding that the House determines what is and isn't crime. So high crimes and misdemeanors could mean whatever the hell we say. Remember that argument? Well, now what? And let me tell you, not only are they violating RICO as an attempt to steal Trump Tower, Mar-a-Lago, and whatever they can get their grubby little hands on, when they're done, they're going to come after your assets. And I do have a video that I saved for the end about a situation that's happened here in New York. I already know what everybody's going to say. Oh, but I don't live in New York. I live in a nice red state. Oh, well, it's coming to you too. When people can just be straight up dishonest, which, by the way, this hearing, one thing that it did highlight, at least for me yesterday, was the need to have the congressmen and the witnesses under oath during hearings. They should be under oath anytime they open up their mouth and conduct the business of the people, because these guys have immunity. They say whatever the hell they want. They lie, and they push propaganda on the American people. And the American people watch this and think that they can trust what these people are saying because they're congressmen and da 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 da. Meanwhile, it's all BS. Secondly, I have a couple clips. Big lie number two is how healthy Joe Biden is, and we'll get into a little something about that in a minute. First, let's hear a little more from Keith Olbermann, my favorite person lately, and because he gives up the goose here with what the Democrats really want. they all make the claim, oh, this isn't about getting Trump, despite the fact that people like Letitia James ran on getting Trump. It's not about any of that, right? But let's listen to Keith, because I think this is the first time that Keith Olbermann's actually found the truth, assuming that's even his last name. I don't know what it is, guys, irrelevant. But let's hear from Keith. What do you got to say, Keith?
Jesus H. Christ, will somebody bring Donald Trump to justice? We don't have 30 days. We have to put him in jail, or this country will come apart like a cheap suit. We don't have 30 days, Alvin Bragg or anybody else.
Fair enough. You should listen to Keith. I never thought I would say that. You should probably listen to the guy, because I think he's telling the truth here in this one particular situation. He'll probably never tell the truth again. So if I was you, I would definitely take a look at that. Um, and I guess another really good question, at least I think it's a really good question, uh, is what's up with Barack Obama and his shadow presidency? Uh, Obviously, Biden's not well. Anybody telling you that is telling you a good tale, and shame on you if you believe it. Um, but what's up with Obama? He did the same thing when Trump was president. Trump would go flying around meeting with world leaders, and then Barack Obama would show up. And then we just had the same thing the other day. You have a lot of controversy over King Charles and Kate Middleton, which I'm not really 100% sure I understand the whole fascination with that. But regardless,
Okay, what the heck has happened to Joe Biden? Barack Obama, the one actually pulling the strings. We just saw Barack Obama show up to UK's Prime Minister's residence to have some sort of secret meeting. All I gotta say is that you have not ever seen any other president go ahead and talk to world leaders the way Barack Obama does. Remember in 2017 when President Trump met President Modi from India, and right after that, President Xi, and 2 weeks later, Barack Obama, not president at the time, he did a whole Eat, Pray, Love tour where he just traveled around to meet with these leaders that President Trump was meeting with at the time. And it didn't stop there, because in 2021, we had Barack Obama go to Scotland at a climate change convention with John Kerry to tee up Joe Biden. He needed the help. Even CNN reported it. Let's not forget that John Kerry also weaseled his way in with Iran when President Trump was talking about denuclearization. The Logan Act. Alarm bells are going off.
but other than that, I thought it was funny. I think it was during yesterday's hearing. It might have been MTG that called him Joe Biden. Uh, I mean, so what exactly is the condition of Joe?
That Netanyahu should go.
I think that pretty much sums it up nicely. Uh, but on a serious note, uh, I said earlier that the Democrats and the Rhinos, pretty much the same thing at this point. Uh, they are basically just attempting to take everything Trump owns. They're going to do it to everybody else too, whether you're a Democrat or Republican. That's the thing that people don't understand. I see a lot of people uh, still, mainly people who don't live in blue states, mainly people who live in Florida, as if there aren't any problems over there. Uh, there are plenty of problems in Florida right now for people who are willing to be honest online, which isn't all that many these days. Uh, we're basically one bad election from every state being a blue state, because when elections no longer matter, and we've done nothing to secure them to make sure that they matter, then whoever they want to get in gets in, whether it's a Republican, a Democrat disguised as a Republican, or George Soros prosecutors, or whatever. Um, and I'm going to play you a clip about a story that happened here in New York, just to show you, when I say things like, oh, they're coming for your home next, A lot of people think that's like hyperbole, and maybe they won't necessarily take it in the way that they've managed to take Trump's, but through uh, Soros prosecutors and uh, the damage that's been done to our system of justice, if you could even call it that anymore, and the policing, once again, they're useless at this point. Just to show you what it is that we're really looking forward to. The story really didn't get as much coverage as it should. It's not just in New York State. I just saw, I can't remember what state it was, maybe Chicago or somewhere else. I saw a very similar story. Um, and I think that we're going to start seeing a lot more of this because the way the laws are right now, they're protecting the criminals and hurting innocent people. Just another example, what was his name? Michael Penny. Is it not Michael Penny? Daniel Penny. Michael Penny. He's some podcast knucklehead, not Mike Penny. Scratch that. Daniel Penny, the guy in New York City, in the subway situation. And while I'm at it, I mean, if they were really serious about cleaning up the New York City subways, maybe you should get the guard out of there. I mean, you guys took their guns away anyway. What the hell good are they? Deploy Michael Penny down there. Honestly, the subway would probably be safer overnight with him down there. And one of the things that I am seeing, and there was an update to the story that I'm about to play now, you have a rise of vigilantes, people who have just basically had enough and they're taking matters into their own hands. This is not an endorsement of that. However, I can't say that I'm upset to see it.
I have video of you. Who are these people? Figure out the situation. Yeah, but they're in my house, man. Relax. No.
To understand how this day ended,
We need the police right away.
with multiple 911 calls and arrests, we have to start at the beginning.
Adele, the hardest question is how do you say your name?
We met Adele Andaloro outside the home her parents left her in Flushing, Queens. She's in the process of selling it.
No, he locked it.
But she's been locked out. She claims squatters moved in on February 6th and refused to leave.
What's it like being here knowing you can't go inside of your own home?
It's enraging. It really is.
In New York, squatters have rights after 30 days.
By the time that someone does their investigation and they do their work and their job, we'll be well over the 30 days, and this man will have stolen my home. And now she's back.
Just after wrapping up our interview, a woman showed up.
What are you doing in the house? Are you renting this house? Why are you here?
She unlocked the front door, saw our cameras, and took off.
It's open. Let's go in the house. It's open.
Adele and her daughter, with the property deed in hand, went inside.
This is my furniture. These are my curtains.
She didn't just find her belongings inside.
There's a man sleeping right there. Get out of my house.
She found two men.
How long have you lived here?
I moved in about 2 days ago.
They've called the police on me, and I've called the locksmiths. I didn't come in illegally. The door was open.
Police started interviewing neighbors and looking for documents.
Do you have something that shows that you've been here for more than 30 days?
They took the man who told me he had been renting for 2 days out in handcuffs.
They got one out.
And escorted the other guy off the property.
Now you're afraid to come out.
I'm not coming out. This house is empty. This is my home. My locksmith is on the corner waiting to change my locks. And that's not fair. It's not fair that I, as the homeowner, should be having to go through this.
How you doing?
Minutes later, a locksmith showed up. But police gave her a warning before they left.
I may end up in handcuffs today if this man shows up here and says that I have illegally evicted him. I said to them, let him take me to court the way I've been told to take him to court. But today, I'm not leaving my house.
Less than 10 minutes after police left and the locks were changed. The man who claims to be the one actually leasing the house shows up.
Call the police again.
With the other guy, police took off the property.
Do you see this? This guy just literally broke down my door, broke through myself and my daughter to get in here. This guy just forced himself into my house. No, he did not. Yes, he did. No, he did. And so did you. You broke through the front door.
Officer.
The man called the police on her.
So why is it that I have to leave and he doesn't have to leave?
Because technically he can't be kicked out. You need to go to court.
They consider this a landlord-tenant issue. And by law, it has to be handled through the housing court, not with police.
If you own this house, you would not want her inside.
I don't own it.
Exactly,
yes.
she does.
Yes, but then once again, you should know how the law works.
I do know how it works.
There's rules to the as you got to go to court and send me to civil court.
He says he signed a lease in October, but wouldn't tell us with who.
I got proof longer than that.
Show us the proof.
But who are you for me to show it? I showed it to cops.
Dan with Channel 7 News. If you don't want to show it, you don't want to show it.
Cool. Come here, brother. I like Dan.
I would like to see it.
He didn't show me a lease.
This is a bill.
A bill for work he says he had done to the house. He didn't show police a lease either.
The police department doesn't have the lease?
No.
He's got no documentation.
Just bills.
So Adele, you're getting arrested right now?
Being arrested
For what?
for being in my own home.
And where's your lease?
She's fighting the house. It's not her house anymore.
My deed
That's
is
what was
current
told
and
her.
legal.
Arrested for unlawful eviction. She changed the locks on a man who claims he lives there.
So how does this all end then? When do you leave?
The way it ends is either she pays me my money that I put into the house, pay me the money, and I'll leave, or send me to court, and we deal with the judge in court. It's that simple.
So basically, the guy makes up some phony baloney bill on Photoshop or whatever. This woman's got the lease. And she's the one who gets arrested. He gets to stay in the house. Only God knows how much damage he'll do in there. And how does she recoup? How does she get her damages back? She won't. She won't. And you know, I know a lot of people think that this is exclusive to New York State, but wherever there are George Soros prosecutors, this is a potential risk. And it's only a matter of time, as I said, when we do nothing to secure our elections, there's basically nothing to stop that. And for everybody that thinks, you know, oh, we just run to a red state, I challenge you to this. Name the red state with the exceptional governor. I can think of maybe two. So, choose wisely. The time to fight is now. And just to be clear, you don't win fights by running away. So maybe it's time we stand up and finally do what we got to do to defeat these people in a legal, peaceful manner. We can settle this on election day. However, that's only going to happen if we have a fair system of voting to be able to elect Donald Trump in. The way things are going right now, facts no longer matter. When facts no longer matter, you could basically say and do anything. You know, as the clip I played you with AOC, for months and months, they were telling people that, you know, high crimes, there's no such thing as high crimes. Congress determines what is and isn't a high crime. And now suddenly you need high crimes and misdemeanors. Now suddenly they know exactly what it means. And they'll just keep doing it. You know, it's one set of rules when it's Trump. It's one set of rules when it's the rest of them. And don't think, you know, how they treat Trump is exactly how they're going to treat us. Because it's not about him. He says this all the time. It's not about him. They're really after us. He's just in the way. That's all I have to say here. If you would do me a favor, like and share this live, please go check out today's sponsor, LE Vet Pet CBD. You can find it at kopepi.click/pet_CBD. Take a look at the Chiron below. The link is there. If you're watching on Rumble, the link will be below in the description. And if you're viewing on X, you could go to my profile, click on the link that says click me, and it'll be all the way at the bottom of the link list. Have a good day. Thank you.